Does anyone else want to actually does anyone else have interesting views you want to raise here?
Getting frustrated again. Somebody.
Well, you're not cognitivist.
Yeah, Bob is a non-cognitivist, but he probably does have an argument.
Do you?
I don't have like some fucking argument, but I will say that I think that any sort of accounts of cognitivism dissolve into some sort of preference shit. So I don't take it that we can say that these propositions are we can treat them like they're true or false, when we talk about them. But it's really just
what do you feel about shit? What do you mean? You can say you could have a cognitivist account where when you make moral claims, you're just talking about facts. You're just talking about facts about your psychology. So there, you could be speaking about preferences, but you could still be a cognitivist, right?
Yeah. Then why aren't we just saying things like I don't want murder to happen, rather than saying murder is wrong?
Yeah, but it could be the case that when you say, it can be safe that when you say I don't want murder to happen, you're just saying I have a certain psychological. There's some certain psychological disposition I have there.
When I say I don't want murder to happen, I'm not saying murder is wrong.
Okay, but to be clear, you agree that you could be a cognitivist and you could use more language in ways where you're talking about psychological facts.
I agree. You can be
okay. So then why did you bring that up then?
Because I'm saying that it's not actually true or false.
Wait, what do you mean? So, I thought you just agreed that you could be a cognitivist and use more language to talk about psychological facts.
We're talking about our psychological states and not morality simpliciter. Then I don't know why the fuck I would be using moral language.
Wait, I don't understand. Wait, to be clear, I'm not following the critique. Are you giving a critique right now, or are you just saying?
No. When you say something is wrong, I take that to be saying something different than I don't like this thing.
Okay. Well, but if you agree that somebody could just, so you agreed that somebody can just use language in cognitive ways and talk about psychological facts. So you already agreed there. I'm trying to figure out, are you just saying that you use the terms differently?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, that can't be what you mean. There's no way.
All that was just to say that you use the terms differently?
Say my nephew runs out into the street and shit like that, I grab him. You shouldn't do that. What I really mean to say is, I don't want you to do that, right? So I agree with you that you use the sort of moral language, right? But I don't think that what I'm saying there is some sort of truth. I think all I'm talking about here is whether or not I want something.
You can also do that and be a cognitivist. You can say, when I say X is good, I'm just saying I want X, and that's compatible with cognitivism.
But I don't think, maybe that's not the view, because I think he's saying something more when you make statements you should not do that.
I'm so fucking sick of that person.
No, dude, what? What do you... Wait, unmute Julian.
Wait, Julian? Julian's the GOAT. Hold on. He's a little feminine.
I think Terrence muted him or something. I don't know.
Yeah, come back, Julian.
He's unmuted.
Alright, cool.
Why is Patrick mute? What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, justice for my boy Patrick. Unmute Patrick, okay?
Yeah, my bad. I have to code switch from trolling.
Wait, Bob. Okay, so what the last thing you just said, you agree that somebody can say, look, if somebody thinks that when they say something X is good, they're just saying I want X. You understand that's not getting you to non-cognitivism, right?
No, you're still being cognitivist. That's correct. No.
Okay, so then I don't know what is the point you're trying to make here.
I think what I was arguing against was that there was just a stance independent moral.
Hold up. You never even mentioned stance independence. You've just been talking about cognitivism.
Yeah.
So why are you mentioning it now?
You mean something when you say something you should not do that, you're issuing a command, which really can't be true or false, but there might be an implicature or something, that's implied by the statement saying, oh, I don't want you to do that, and that can be true or false. Is that
sure.
sort of
I'm more inclined to a command usage than just saying that the moral language is cashed out by my desires, because I think it sounds silly in a way to say hey, murder is wrong because I don't like it. I don't feel like that'd be a sufficient account for most things for people that claim to be realist, at least.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would call that view non-cognitivism, but I don't know exactly if it fits into most views about
because at least to my understanding, cognitivism is just saying that when it comes to moral language, it's just moral statements, propositions. There should be truth acts, right? And they can possess everything you're saying, but even then, with non-cogs, that's why you have emotivists, which will say what you don't like, apparently, which is we could look at some moral language and say that it's just reflective of some sort of psychological disposition. It seems like you're maybe focusing on a very small area of cognitivists, like TikTok cognitivists, who will hop on and then just say the word preference and intuition about 50 times. I don't think you're really I think that's who your issue's with, not necessarily your issue is with saying that moral statements are propositions and that they're truth apt. I don't think that's what you think, unless you do think that. We can put all that down to the
so I understand morality to be, I guess the way that most people talk about it, to be like its own distinct like epistemic domain, so that when we derive true inferences about like moral stuff, that there's some way we can get to those inferences. Now, if our epistemic method is something like I want, therefore, then I don't really know if I'd consider that to be sufficient. Like from a perspective.
What did you mean when you say you take it to be its own distinct epistemic domain?
Like when you ask people about possibility, for example, right? You're going to be talking about like modality, so you'd probably want some modal argument to support like the sort of inferences about like what is possible and what is not. And the same thing goes for morals. I think that what people rely on is something like moral axiology specifically in order to inform their inferences or to be the foundation for the inferences that they're making.
You're just saying that you think there should be a different logic for morality, or?
I'm kind of skeptical about like metalogic and like what really
that's
informs,
not that's actually not about metalogic.
Yeah, no, I don't know what the basis is for the formation of logics, other than they just seem like useful for us to use as tools to drive.
Yeah, but I don't understand what's being said. Like when you say that you take morality to be a separate epistemic domain, are you just saying that you prefer that there be like some logic to model like moral talk or something? Is that all you're saying?
Oh, I don't prefer it. It just seems to be the way it is. Like we get to moral truth in ways that are different than we get to like scientific.
You think there certainly are there are formal systems that but like I don't know what you're trying to say.
What I'm trying to say is that we get to moral knowledge in different ways than we get to knowledge about, I don't know, trees and rocks or possibility or the essence of the world or something like that.
Oh, it's just no one really disagrees with. It depends how you're saying it. Like, of course, really, like trivially, like for every, for different propositions, to be almost like trivially different ways I'll like acquire knowledge for the things. If that's all you're saying, then sure.
Also, I have a lot.
I don't know if you're making some stronger claim than that.
No, I don't even think I am. I have a lot of skepticism about knowledge generally.
So you're just saying that in the same way that like there's a different way I would get knowledge for like God existing than I would get knowledge for like Platonism being true. You're just saying like some trivial thing that no one disagrees.
Yes. Even though with the God problem, I don't even know what it means for God to exist or like in what way that exists and whatever you say. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Best question for a theist: how do we get God facts? How do we know about God stuff? I know how we know about like
nobody here is a theist. I don't think.
My friend Charsky is a theist. My friend Charsky and Keen are atheists, so they want to speak up, or maybe they just. Well,
but like Keen is basically an atheist. Like
Keen's a hard theist. I don't know what the fuck you're taught. Like I don't know who taught you Keen's views, but Keen's a hard theist. You can defend your view now of theism if you want. Oh yeah, Charles, you can defend your view of hard theism now if you want. I mean, unless you want to run away and say that you can actually
hard theism means. I don't know what
okay, now you just don't even know your position. Once you're put on the spot.
I just believe in the Mormon God. I just love the Mormon God.
Oh, there you go.
No, Keen does not think the first way is sound.
Only problem is, how do we know about a God, and how would any sort of like God knowing that we do be distinct from any sort of other like kind of knowing that we would do? Because I think if you tell me like I know God by so on and so forth or whatever else, I feel like it'll probably collapse into either some naturalistic argument or like a necessity claim, like you need some sort of God to know about other things like that. Bro, Mason, I'm not even hating. Like you're just like femininely obstinate. Like do you
okay?
Okay, yeah, just scoff. like why are you like this?
You felt the need to say all of that.
Yes, I did. Do you want to psychoanalyze me? Why did I feel the need to do that? What am I coping with?
No, I don't.
Can I ask you a couple questions, Bob?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you think that change is a real feature of the world?
No, we're not doing that. Somebody mute him.
That change is a real feature of the world?
Yeah, like that.
Hey, Turns, can you mute the
causality? Right.
Mute Patrick. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I got you.
Damn, you muted Pat. Why?
It's annoying.
Wait, unmute my boy Patrick.
Mustafa, why haven't you added me
we can
back?
actually go to the Thomistic metaphysics first before we even touch on this. It's just a questionnaire. I just have a couple
I
questions.
just unmuted him. You're like getting banned, whoever did that.
I just have like 50 questions for you. Just like a long line.
It's like there aren't any. I don't know if there's any like. I mean, Shoshi's here, but and the guy's retarded, but he's an atheist, but he's also a retarded atheist. So.
Who?
The guy like right behind you in the VC order.
Oh.
Shoshi.
Yeah.
That's not a nice thing to say to someone.
Yeah, Soshi, how do you feel about James Anderson's argument for God from Lord of Non-Contradiction? That paper he made. You think it's a good argument?
I think Soshi has very good opinions.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
You think James Anderson's argument is good? Like his argument for God?
What is it?
It basically says that the laws of logic are truths. Laws of logic are truths about truths. And then laws of logic are necessary truths. And then the laws of logic exist in a mind, so they exist in some necessary mind. And that's just the divine mind. How do you feel about that?
That seems convincing. I think I'm a theist now.
Yeah, same.
I think that there's a mind, your mind, my mind.
I agree there are minds. Yeah, that I'm also a theist.
Mm-hmm.
Can somebody mute Sam?
Wait, can someone use?
Can we listen? Can we listen? Actually, can we get a change up in here?
No.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I didn't mute you, Patrick, right away. I muted Simple Text because he's a retard.
Who's muting Patrick?
We already talked about this with Eric before, but does anybody have issues with deflationism?
I'm gonna mute Patrick.
He's already muted.
No, I said unmute.
Wait, deflationism. Well, what?
Yeah.
Can we mute Joseph?
And he means truth. He means truth, I think.
No.
Yeah. My problem is that so the reason I was talking about propositions earlier was that I think it's weird when people say that truth is this property of these propositions, which I take to just be thoughts, right? And that there's some sort of metaphysically substantive property added to our thoughts, these propositions, when they are true. I think that we are engaging in some sort of talk, right? Like where we're kind of like verifying maybe intuitions and stuff like that. So we'll regard like certain propositions as true. But beyond just some sort of attitude that we have towards these thoughts, I don't know what this edition of this truth property is actually. So that's sort of why I've been leaning toward deflationism lately.
What kind of deflationism?
Well, as far as kinds, I'm not too educated. I'm just not convinced that there is some sort of like property of truth thing that's like being applied. I think what we're just talking about is like a kind of attitude that we have towards sentences pertaining to either states of affairs or whatever have you. So.
Wait, what is that? Wait, what do you mean by it? Like, so you think truth is like an attitude you have towards some like statement? Is what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. So when you say it's raining outside, like, and you go outside and you look at the rain, all that's occurring there is that like there's like something either like synchronous between the states of affairs and like how you feel or whatever, right? But I don't think that anything is actually happening to this proposition, right? This thought that you have.
No, but you're saying something like so for some proposition, you're saying that's true if you have like some attitude towards it. Like maybe you like the proposition or maybe you don't like it.
That's not deflationism.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure. So there, I've heard Gabe said there are actually some views of I might not be getting it. I know like there might be a view like that, but I'm not convinced.
No, I'm open to explanation. Like it's just something I'm teetering with. And
which view of deflationism do you think says that some proposition is true if and only if you have some attitude towards it?
No, this is just my own view. Now, it may not be deflationist, and if it isn't, then I'd want clarification. All right, but what I'm denying essentially is that, well, for the time being, is that there is some sort of like property called truth that is like, wait,
hold up. On your view, don't you have a property of truth on your view? If you're like, if by property you mean like some type of predicable, then on your view, the propositions are only true when you have some attitude towards it. Like, so you have some truth predicable, don't you? Or
when I'm saying something is true, like I think I'm just saying that I find the sort of attitude that it encapsulates to be favorable.
Yeah, exactly. But that's like a predicable. For example, if you have some proposition, you have to if that proposition has the predicate of you finding it favorable, then it's true. So that's like a truth property.
So a truth property is just
like, unless you're using properties in some weird way that I don't understand. Like, I just understand properties as like predicates. Is that how you're understanding them?
Maybe that's where I'm confused, because if I take a proposition to be a thought, and then like I would say, hey, what are some properties of thoughts? Like that is its own problem, right? Like I can describe my thoughts. I can say like I'm like imagining something pretty, for instance, right? And so maybe pretty would be the property that it has. But then when you say something like, okay, but this thought also has the property of like truth, like what's that look like? Like how do I explain that to somebody?
I just don't understand how that's responding, but
well, it's not necessarily a response, more just like a question,
okay.
For clarification here. Just that when we talk about properties of like mental things, maybe, or mental objects or whatever else, right? Thought, right? The property of these thoughts are just going to be things like within my experience that I can use to predicate the thought itself. So when I have an experience of my thought, like in introspection, I can say things like, I see like a tree and say, you know, the tree's green or whatever else, it's pretty, it's ugly or whatever. So this seems like a way I can talk about like mental properties. On most inflationist accounts of truth is a metaphysically substantive property, meaning that something is changing in the world when a proposition is true, presumably. I don't know if that's the case. When you tell me that a thought is true versus untrue, or a thought is, you know, just expressing something and doesn't have truth or falsity or whatever else.
Actually, yeah, I don't even know if that like I don't even know if well, it depends how you're cashing it out, like something is changing in the world, because there might be interpretations where I might imagine like even a correspondence theorist might like believe like a proposition is true, and I don't know, maybe like nothing's changing the world in some like really strong way you're talking about. It just depends what you're saying.
It'd be easier to sink my teeth into that if there was like an example, like of like some proposition that's true, but like there's really nothing going on in the world, you know, but a correspondence theory still holds to it.
No, there's something in the world. But I'm saying, like, for example, like I could have some proposition true at a moment of time, and like change might not have occurred. So I could have like some interval of time where change hasn't occurred, and nevertheless that proposition is still true.
Yeah, like you could have the proposition that a world exists or whatever, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying like there are ways. I'm just saying like that might not be what you're trying to get at. I'm just saying there are ways of understanding that where, what you're affording is actually not true.
Yeah, I haven't really given much thought to like these temporal concerns. Like when something is true, things aren't necessarily like made true. Things don't go from a state of like untrue.
You could not have said anything false. I'm just saying like you have to clarify what you mean. Like I'm just saying I'm giving you an interpretation where it comes out as false.
Sorry, what?
Bob,
mute the sample text.
Bob, you don't hold.
Yeah, cool.
Wait,
so I'm just saying because he's retarded. I didn't mute him, but somebody else did.
Wait, let's just hear what he has to say.
No.
It's monkeyboy's room. Shut your mouth.
All right, fine.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. So, Bob, you don't hold to correspondence theory, right?
No, not at present. No.
So, can you name a proposition that is either true and doesn't correspond to reality, or a proposition that corresponds to reality but isn't true?
Probably not. No.
Okay, then do you agree that a proposition is true if and only if it corresponds to reality?
Jesus fucking Christ.
Well, here's my problem, sample text.
I mean, listen. I don't want to make fun of you, Bob. You're like really intelligent. It's just like every person who doesn't hold to correspondence theory, especially deflationary theory, I just ask them that, and I just don't get a good response ever.
Well, because I'm a huge fucking skeptic about this idea that things like our thoughts will correspond to reality, like what that correspondence actually means.
Okay, sure. So you're just a non-cognitivist about correspondence. You think no proposition corresponds to reality because you don't believe that means.
I'm open to being convinced. I just don't know what this relation of correspondence actually is.
I didn't say you're not open to being convinced. I just you're just going to be a non-cognitivist about it, right?
Well, if you don't know what the relation is, then how could you even have answered the question?
Well, no. To be fair, I asked him if he just believes in it or not if he actually denies it. Like
Oh,
I
but
don't
I'm saying-
believe. I don't know. My building is blarg. I don't know what blarg means, so I don't believe in it.
But
Doesn't mean I
presumably-
deny it.
But you were asking, no, to be clear, I'm saying you were asking him, do you think there's any proposition that's true that doesn't correspond to reality? And his answer was like, no. But I'm saying, how would he, like, presumably if he doesn't know what the correspondence relation is, he just wouldn't even be able to
I
answer.
don't know.
No. You can. For example, he said he doesn't think it. Right. I don't think my dog is blarg. I
No,
don't
you're
know what
not.
blarg
No,
means. That's why I don't think it.
you're not tracking. Look, I'm saying he doesn't know what the correspondence relation is, so he wouldn't even understand the question.
Well, because he doesn't understand the question, he can say he doesn't believe in it.
What do you mean? To say you don't believe it, that's taking a stance on the proposition. He doesn't even understand what, or even if there is a
That's saying
proposition.
you're
There.
agnostic about it.
Yeah, which is which is to say that you don't, believe it's true. Which is to say that there is a proposition and you don't believe it's true. Neither do you believe it's false. But the point is, like, he's saying he doesn't understand the correspondence relation.
Which means
Like, he doesn't understand
have
what it
belief
is.
about if it's true or false,
He doesn't. Are you fucking retarded?
bro.
He's saying he
Okay.
doesn't understand
Wait,
what the
so
correspondence
do you know what
relation is.
blarg
Fucking
means?
retard.
Do you know what blarg means?
Right, so he's not even sure. So he wouldn't be sure if there's a proposition there because he doesn't understand the term.
Yeah, can you answer the question? Can you answer?
What was the question?
Do you know what blarg means? Is it like a cognitive?
No,
Good. Do you believe my dog is blarg?
I don't know what. I don't understand if that's a proposition. How could I take?
have in your set of beliefs? You have
I don't know what
belief that
blarg
says
is. So
my
how do I
dog is
fucking
blarg.
have a belief about it? You fucking moron.
You have presumably you have like a set of beliefs, right?
Yes.
In that set of beliefs, is there anything like my dog is blarg?
I don't like. I mean, that's just a category error for me because I take a belief to be a propositional attitude. Right. So
Okay.
that's not even. I'm not even convinced that's the type of thing I can have a belief on. You fucking
Okay.
moron.
You agree that's a sentence, right? You agree that's at least a sentence?
If by sentence you mean proposition, no. If by sentence you mean something else, maybe. It just
I
depends what
didn't
you
say
mean.
proposition.
Okay, then what do you mean by sentence?
A string of letters.
Yes, I agree. It's a string of letters.
Yeah, that string of letters could not be put into your set of beliefs.
Are you fucking look? You retard! I take a belief to be an attitude towards a proposition.
You don't have an
I'm not
attitude
even
about
so.
the
Look,
truth
if
of
I
that
don't
statement.
grant
Okay,
that's a
okay,
proposition,
I agree
I'm
with
not
you.
even
I
going to
agree.
be the grant. It's the type of thing that I can have a belief about.
Great. I agree. A belief is
Okay.
a propositional
So
attitude.
then, why are you acting confused?
Now, do you have a propositional attitude about the sentence, my dog is blarg?
I don't even know if that's a proposition.
So do you have a propositional attitude about it?
No.
The question is a
So you
category
don't
error.
believe it. Thank you.
Are you
don't have a
fucking
propositional
retarded?
attitude that you don't believe it. Holy shit.
What?
So, okay, just mute. Somebody just mute him. I don't-
On
That was like the
Mason's, on
simplest thing
Mason's
ever.
view,
Holy
on
shit.
Mason's view,
No,
the question is a
no.
category error.
That's not how that works.
That literally is. What mistake did I make, monkeyboy?
Listen, if something's a proposition, you can have like a negative or like a positive attitude towards it, right? And that's
I
going to be
agree.
the belief state. Yeah. So if it is not a proposition, it's not going to have this like dogmastic axiological property, right? It's just not going to be propositional.
Okay.
So it's not going to.
Do you believe, monkey? Do you believe you can? Like, let's say I have a sentence that is not propositional, like my dog is blarg. Do you think you can believe that sentence? Do you think like if you think it's not propositional?
No.
Okay, so we agree that if you don't think it's propositional, then you don't believe it, right?
No, it's like Mason said, it's a category error. It can't be believed nor like disbelieved.
Well,
If it cannot be believed, then it's not believed.
To be clear,
If it cannot be believed, it's not
Look at
believed.
if I say P, right,
was a
and I hold towards
Yo,
P.
what the fuck?
Listen.
Am I experiencing psychosis? What the fuck is this?
If I believe-
it's so simple.
If I believe P and someone says not P, I'm going to disbelieve that expression given as some proposition that
I didn't
don't
say
believe for.
disbelieve. I said just not believe, like lack a belief about it.
Yeah,
Not possess
sure.
a belief. It's not in your set of beliefs,
Yeah,
right? That's what I said multiple times. And so if you think something is not propositional, can it be within your set of beliefs?
no.
So if something is not propositional, you don't believe it, right?
Yeah, for clarity, if all you mean by don't believe
So what I said was completely true.
is doesn't have some like propositional value.
Yeah. I didn't say actively deny. That is,
Yeah.
like let's say we have P. When I say don't believe, I mean you don't have a belief, or like you don't assert.
Okay,
You don't have
yeah.
the belief
That
it's
was
true.
just
When I say, I'm sorry, let me be more correct. You don't possess the belief that it's true. When I say disbelieve or deny, I mean you have the belief that it's false. These are different things.
Yeah.
Right. So it's completely fine for me to say, if you like, I don't believe my dog is blarg because I don't even know what blarg means, so I cannot have a belief that it's true. Okay, thank you. That's all I needed. Bye bye. I'm gonna mute you again. Or wait, can you actively server mute me? That's more funny.
Yeah, sample text, and I was sorry for being confusing about it. The reason why I was being wishy-washy was just because the way that I understand correspondence is like, well, we have a proposition, right? Some sort of proposition, like it's raining outside, right? So there's a thing that happens where I go outside and then I see it raining, right? I observe that it's raining, and so this proposition thing then has some sort of property change go on, right? So that some property of truth is somehow being like added to the proposition. Okay, and I'm not.
I don't know if that's necessary for correspondence. Maybe for like coherence, maybe.
No, probably. No. Theories of truth have unless standard inflationary and deflationary theories of truth invoke that there is at least one truth property, and then you'll diverge with different accounts. Like pluralist theories will say that there's more than one truth property. As to how that truth property looks like will depend on the particular theory. So it's not that the correspondence theory doesn't have a truth property that's just strictly speaking false.
Maybe that I think that one letter over my head. I'm not very I don't know the nitty-gritties of it. I'm just like, whenever someone says like I don't believe correspondence theory, I instead believe deflationary theory. They just never give me not like, I'm not saying they're like sneaky or Weasley. I just like never give me a proposition that they think it's true but doesn't correspond, or a proposition that doesn't that corresponds but they don't think it's true.
Yeah, so like for me, like I'm an anti-realist about like mathematical objects, but nonetheless, even put me aside, there's people who are like, let's say, deflationary nominalists about the truth about mathematical objects, right? So they don't think that there are any mathematical objects, strictly speaking, but nonetheless, there are truths about mathematical statements. And on this view, there's no correspondence relation there, or even just like on general, like A theory, like presentist accounts. When people talk about the problem for presentists of like grounding past truths, on like the standard kind of response is to deny some kind of like truth maker, what's it called, maximalist view or something like that, and they might just deny that there's any truth makers for past truths, and there's nothing in which like the past truths are going to correspond to, given that on the presentist picture the past is empty.
Yeah, just to be clear, usually anti-realists about mathematics just cash it out in terms of like language, or not like entities that are real. So like if you're an anti-realist about mathematics, you can still say 1 + 1 is true, but you just mean different things. You don't mean like there's an entity that is one and it blah 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 with two.
Even then you might say something like it's true by virtue of the words that are being used, but you might not think that there's like some object that exists out there that's like language.
Yeah, it might just all be linguistic, or
but that doesn't mean that there's some correspondence relation.
It corresponds to how the language is used. No.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that you think that there's a robust entity that's called like the language that exists. Right?
Yeah, of course. But but the language is used in reality, and the sentence corresponds to how the language is used in reality.
Yeah, but that's irrelevant. Like the point is that
if all you mean by 1 + 1 is 2 is like this is following from how we use the rules of language in this particular context, and it does indeed follow from how you use the rules of language in this specific context, then it's true.
Right? Yeah, first I would deny that most of them would just capture it by language. I mean, that might be true for something like a deflationary nominalist, but take someone like Mark Gallagher, he would disagree with that. He doesn't think that these mathematical statements are made true by virtue of the language.
And he's like an anti-realist?
Yeah, he's a mathematical error theorist.
DM me and stuff, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I don't know many mathematical error theorists, but it's certainly possible.
I mean, yeah, you could check out his book then. It's like his most recent book. It's called Mathematical Error Theory and Modal Nothingism. It's like only like 80 pages. You can look at that.
Okay. I'll check it out.
I don't think that they would say that like they're made true by virtue of the language. They're gonna appeal to certain axioms about fucking like piano axioms or whatever of that given formal system, and they say like they're made true by virtue of those axioms or whatever. I don't think
sure
by virtue of the language, right? Because they might
no, that's fine, but he would just say all mathematical propositions are false.
Look, but they might say like these mathematical statements are true regardless of language. They might say that it's independent from language. Like the formal system is going to be its own language that's independent of the way speakers. Like, I don't know whether.
Wait, I think I'm confused here. So he's an error theorist about mathematics, but he says some propositions are true?
He's an error theorist about, mathematical objects.
Mathematics, but he thinks some mathematical propositions are true?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I just don't know how you can be that. Like, what does error theory mean in that context? I just take it to be that all propositions are false in this context.
Yeah, like, strictly speaking, they're false. But he uses some counterfactual to capture the notion of truth there.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I agree. You can have a notion of truth that like will have a proposition being true and doesn't correspond to reality, but they never like. I mean, if he can, that's great. But usually, when I ask deflationists, they don't give me an explicit proposition like that. And I would probably just either hold that it's not true or hold that it doesn't correspond to reality.
People on this for you. Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't really. I don't know. I don't think it really matters whether or not people on Discord can produce some proposition that they think is true but doesn't correspond to reality. I mean, I don't think that should be indicative.
I agree, but it's like it's not on me. Like I just the default position for me, I just like held always correspondence theory. And when someone says like I don't agree with that, they just like it's on them to kind of like make the case. I like it's not terribly important to me to go read all the correspondence theory stuff. But I mean, it's interesting. Go read it.
No. That's just going to depend on like how the dialectic is going. Like if somebody says the correspondence theory is false, well then yeah, they have the burden to show that it's false. But if you say like the correspondence theory is true, well no, you have the burden to show that.
I never said that. I just asked Bobby if he doesn't believe it's true, if he believes it's not true, or if he just at least doesn't believe it. He said yes, and I asked him further questions. I'm not here to defend correspondence theory. Theories of truth are not terribly important to me.
Yeah, but like a more general claim about whether, because you said it seems to me like just the default position. That's a more general claim, regardless of the context of the conversation that you were having. And that's the point that I'm kind of attacking. This is a more general point. No, I don't care about
what I meant is just like that's kind of trivially how I use the word, but maybe there's something I'm missing, and that's going to be like problematic. Like someone can like have it like a different beginning usage of the word true, and just like fine, that's for them.
I mean, yeah, obviously, this is why.
Yeah, I'm not attacking like deflationary theory right now. Well, no, I said I'm not trying to say they're Weasley. I'm not trying to say they're like impossible to answer. I just like they never did.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, if by deflate you mean like people that are deflationists, you mean people on Discord? Yeah, sure.
Sure. Patrick,
what's up?